Am I the a-hole for telling my friend that they looked ugly when they did in fact look ugly? They got so pressed and upset with me, and now we're not on speaking terms because they took it to heart. I mean, why wouldn't they take it to heart? Why would you say that? What's good, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. It's Tiara, and for those who are new, welcome. So today we're going to be reading different stories, different scenarios, and we're going to determine if the person is an a-hole. We got some good submissions in last week, so we're going to go through them. I put out an Instagram story for people to submit their stories, and I also went on Reddit because I saw some juicy ones there too. So it's going to be a combination, but let's get straight into the video. Am I the a-hole for kicking my mother-in-law out of my wife's baby shower? It's gonna be interesting. I, 28 male, and my wife, 29 female, are expecting our first baby in March and are very excited, but there have been complications. My wife has been struggling with constant nausea and pain, which has led her to be basically bedridden in the past few months. Her nausea has been a bit better lately, so my mom and sister decided to throw us a baby shower. I know that dad isn't typically invited, but that's just how my family does it. Well, my mother-in-law is not happy about any of it. She's upset that my family is throwing the shower, even though she never offered to help. Okay, so that's flag number one. Can't be pissed if you don't want to help. Period. She's upset that my family is throwing the shower, even though she never offered to help, and upset that men were invited. What? That I could see from her point of view and put aside for the sake of reducing drama. What I couldn't forgive was her comments towards my wife the second she came through the door. She claimed that my wife wasn't really that sick and was just doing it to get out of work, when in reality, my wife was working online literally from the bathroom in between vomiting. Wait, so hold on, mother-in-law, so that means that's the pregnant wife's mom, no?
Your grandmama's the baby.
This kind of behavior is more so common, doesn't sound so bad, on the family side that's not of the wives, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't expect this from the wife's side, especially because she's pregnant. I would assume that her family would be more supportive. This is something I would have expected from his side. No offense. The kicker was when my sweet sister tried to lighten the mood, saying, well, at least wife is feeling better now. And mother-in-law said, I bet she's just here to get our money and attention, then not show her face for another month. I was livid. I can't grasp the idea that this is all coming from the pregnant wife's mom. Am I reading this wrong? Am I interpreting this wrong? Because he's starting off the story saying I, 28 male, and my wife. And then he keeps saying my mother-in-law. So that's her mom. What? That's some odd behavior. I told her she needed to shut up or leave because this day was about supporting my wife and our baby. So she needed to do that. Period. We love a husband that stands up for the wife regardless. I hear a lot of horror stories of in-laws causing a whole wreck in relationships. So it's really nice seeing the husband taking on the wife's side just because, you know, I don't know. But then also at the same time, I feel like it's easier for him to be in this position where he's supporting the wife more because it's coming from his in-law. Like, it's not like it's his family. You know what I'm saying? Dance look combo eats. That ticked her off, so she screamed at my wife and I for being ungrateful until my wife cried. So I told her to just F off already. She finally listened and left, and the rest of the party went somewhat smoothly. However, some family members said I should have just ignored her, and wife doesn't want to talk about it. So, was I in the wrong?
So, since you asked.
I definitely don't think you were in the wrong. I think the mom was tripping. I still can't get over the fact that that's the wife's mom. From what I'm understanding, mother-in-law, wife's mom. So honestly, I feel for you. And for her to really have the audacity to say she's probably faking it, she should have been gone from the jump. Because don't let me hear that. I can't imagine being pregnant and having all those symptoms and then someone's gonna say, I bet she's faking it. She should have rocked her world. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's the kind of support the wife needs. So no, I don't think you're in the wrong. I feel like there's a conception where whatever elders say go. And that's not always the case. It really depends case by case. But in this case, mom was wrong. Period. Am I the a-hole for not caring about honoring my in-laws?
It's gonna be juicy.
Let me preface that I fully understand that many people have different viewpoints of honoring their parents, LOL. So my husband and I apparently have differing views about honoring our parents. And I've been made out to be the a-hole by his family multiple times. His family is not respecting of my boundaries I put up. And he, husband, also put up. And so I've definitely been a bit more rigid about things. My husband already ruined what I wanted for our wedding by inviting his whole extended family as his parents wanted him to. I wanted something more intimate, letting his mother take unwanted formal wedding pictures, which made me uncomfortable. We hired a photographer. And just other various things. They push and push and push, and it gets suffocating. Anyways, now I've become the a-hole again because I don't want to honor his parents by letting them see me and our firstborn child within the first 24 hours of me giving birth. Oh, we'll get into my comments after. I don't want my parents there either, lol. I just want it to be the two of us. I already know myself and my body and my emotions, and with how overbearing his parents are, I know it's going to be hell for me. He claims that the birth isn't just about us, it's about our parents too. Which I laughed in his face about. Maybe that's a-hole-ish, lol. My parents don't believe their first grandchild is about them, and so I'm not sure where my husband and his parents get this notion. Am I the a-hole for sticking my ground and refusing that? I feel like I'm going literally insane. LOL. First things first, again, I have never been pregnant, so this is just from the outside looking in. If you are pregnant and you are having a child, I personally believe, and I might be biased, but it is the wife's ultimate decision who she wants in the room, period. It shouldn't be where parents feel like they're obligated to be there. Don't get me wrong, I think it's normal. Me personally, I would want my mom there, but not everyone wants that. Like she says, she understands her emotions and she just thinks it's overbearing. I've watched people give birth, you know what I'm saying? Like, for some context, I've been on the other side. So I was in the room when my best friend gave birth. I've seen what it's like the whole process and the emotions and how overbearing it can be. So if she's deciding that she does not want the parents in there, then let it be. You can see the baby later. As a parent or an in-law, if you feel the need to have to be in the room or you have to see the baby within 24 hours, all that tells me is that you're more concerned about the baby and not the mom. And I feel like most of the time, just from what I've seen, it gets to a point where the mom's well-being is overlooked because the main focus is on the baby. And I get it. There's a new baby, it's a new person in this world, you're excited to see the baby. At the same time, this is when the mom needs the most support. So no, I don't think you're the a-hole. I think you should continue standing your ground, and I'm proud of you for setting boundaries. A lot of people have that problem, and a lot of people just let people walk all over them, and it causes more problems. I probably would have went about it the same way. And then also, I think it's very important for you to have a conversation with your husband. I think naturally, his parents are going to be favoring his side and whatever he says. So I think it's really important to set that boundary with your husband. I know in the beginning you said you did, but at the end of the day, you guys have different viewpoints of honoring your parents. So I think have the conversation. With your side, this is how it should be. With my side, this is how it should be. You guys are the team. You guys are now each other's number one, not your parents. Am I the a-hole for cutting my family off because they blame me for taking $500 from my great grandmother on her 80th birthday? Let's see what happens here. A little backstory is basically at my grandmother's 80th birthday, we all went out for brunch. My cousin was there too. She's hella important. So after the brunch, I was going back home, but I rode with my great grandmother and my cousin. We got gas first, and then we dropped off my cousin. Then my great grandma took me to Little Caesars to get hot and ready with butter and parm. And that night, I was at my grandmother's house when my auntie called me on a three-way with my other grandma and great grandma and was asking if I seen or took any money out of my great grandma's purse. And I was saying no. Every time they asked me, I kept getting irritated because they kept asking after I kept saying no. So then I hung up and blocked all of them to only find out my cousin took the money and I kind of blocked my family for no reason. That was a lot of run-ons, but I can understand why you're irritated for being blamed for something like that. I mean, $500 isn't cheap. To go to the extent of blocking or cutting off your family, I would say based off that incident alone, I think it's a little much. Depends how they really went about the situation. I mean, I kind of have the meat of the story, but I mean, if they were cussing you out, calling out your name, then that's one thing. It seems like if you got to the point to cut off your family, maybe you already had a bad history with them and this event pushed you off the edge. So in my opinion, for that incident alone, I would have cut them off. Maybe talk about it. I would say it could have been handled a different way. I probably would have cut them off for that. Am I the a-hole for telling friends to work on their delivery, being better on criticism and not on people first rip? No, I don't think so. I honestly think constructive criticism is good, but it also depends how you're doing that. How is your delivery? That plays a big role here. As a friend, I think you should be able to take that criticism because in the long run, it's just gonna cause problems. I think it's healthy to do, set the boundaries. It doesn't really sound like friends that you need to keep in the long run. Am I the a-hole for accidentally marrying my brother and having a child with him? I I, 32 female, was adopted as a baby and never knew my biological family. Okay, now this is starting to make sense. 25, I met Jake. Oh, we're dropping names. Okay. 34 male. We hit it off, dated, got married, and recently had a son. Everything was great until we both did DNA tests. Jake and I are full biological siblings. We had no idea as we were adopted by different families and never connected the dots. Oh. Okay. Because at first I'm thinking like, even if you are adopted, wouldn't his family know you off rip? But I mean, I guess if you guys are both adopted by different families, that's a crazy coincidence. After confirming the results, we were shocked, but decided to stay together because we genuinely love each other and didn't know. We're seeing a therapist and haven't told anyone except our adoptive parents. I feel guilty. That's tough because I feel like because of the timing and you guys already got married and you had a child, that's just so weird. How did like the child come out? I mean, that's none of my business because that wasn't part of the story, but it just brings up a lot of questions in my mind. My first thought would be call it off, because what? But I'm trying to be realistic here. I'm not saying I'm promoting this, but you're married and you have a child. So even if you did call it off, you have a child. To answer the question, I don't think you're the a-hole because you genuinely did not know. If you did know and you went into it, I would have a lot of questions, but you didn't know. This is a really tricky situation. I personally wouldn't want to be married to my biological sibling. Am I the a-hole for getting mad at my friend for giving his girlfriend more attention and ignoring me? I need a little bit more context because I feel like there is a difference. If this is like you and your homegirl, like me and my homegirl, then if it gets to the point where you're ignoring me, I would feel a type of way. However, if this is a friendship where it's opposite genders, then I can kind of understand it. Because I feel like a lot of people don't understand once someone gets into a relationship, depending on who they're in a relationship with, not everyone's okay with their significant other having friendships with the opposite gender. You know what I'm saying? Also, I don't know if you guys have been friends for a while. Have you guys just been friends for a couple of months? I feel like it really depends what the variables are in here. Overall, I think it's a natural feeling to have. You know, it's your friend and they're not giving you attention. But at the end of the day, that's what comes with being in a relationship. Your attention is just gonna go elsewhere. I wouldn't say you're the a-hole, it's natural feelings. However, I think I need more details, more context of the kind of friendship this is for me to have an actual opinion. But yeah, I wouldn't say you're tripping, if that's what you're wondering. Am I the a-hole for kicking my roommate out because she fell into financial hardship? Ooh, that's tricky. Dang. I mean, for me, it'll be really hard, but at the same time, it does impact you financially. Like if you're both on a lease and they can't pick up with the rent, ooh, I get it. I don't think you're the a-hole. I don't. If you miss out on payments, that's gonna ruin your credit. I'm hoping they were able to recover, like live with family or have another friend to go with. If you just kick them out to the streets, then I would say that's a little messed up. But I get it. You can't be in a situation where you can't pick up on stuff. That's tough, but I get it. I get it. A girl made a big fuss thinking that I liked her boyfriend and that I wanted to take him away just because I posted a picture on my close friends that had her boyfriend, me, and more people drawn individually. She also got offended by a cue that I posted on my close friends that it was mainly for my cousin, but she swears it was for her. Am I the a-hole? P.S. I've been friends with her boyfriend and his friends since first grade. See, this is one of those situations where it's like, if you guys have been friends for that long, is that unexpected? I mean, I don't really know what the story was, but I can understand both sides. Like if you guys are friends, I'm assuming you're like past high school by now. If you've been friends for all those years and then he just got a girlfriend and then she's having the feeling that you like him, then it's like, okay. But at the same time, I understand where she's coming from because, you know, it's a new environment for her and maybe she's intimidated. I don't know. I have no idea. Here's what I'll say. As a friend, even though you've been friends with a person for all this time, out of respect, it would be good to get to know the girlfriend more so she's more comfortable, because it's not to say you need to disappear, but if you know that he's going to be in a relationship or he has a significant other now, it's important to set the boundaries because you don't want to put her in an uncomfortable position. So even though I understand both sides of the story, I feel like just maybe befriending her or getting to know her will make her feel more comfortable when you do things like this. Am I the a-hole for talking a friend out of getting a girl pregnant because I liked him? That's crazy. I mean, for those reasons alone, I would say yes, because that's very selfish, especially if that's what he wants to do. I think it's for selfish reasons. I just have the conversation like, hey bro, like you and me and you, like I feel like we're just connected. It doesn't say he's in a relationship, so that's why I'm saying that. I'm not saying take somebody's man, but it doesn't say he's in a relationship. I would say yes, because it The intentions are selfish. So yeah. Am I the a-hole for cutting off my best friend because her boyfriend is toxic, rude, and disrespectful? Dang. No, I don't think you are. Now that I'm older, I look back at friendships where this was the case. I mean, it wouldn't really bother me, but now as a friend, if your friend is in a relationship like that, I feel like it does show their level of self-respect. I do think that toxic relationships can end up infiltrating friendships in general. So I mean, I get it. I really do. Especially like if you guys want to hang out or something, then you have to deal with the nonsense. Like, who has time for that? That's just, no. I don't think you're an a-hole. I think it's just boundaries. I think it's self-respect. If the best friend ends up going a different direction or they fix it up, then hey, maybe it opens the door for other opportunities or other circumstances. But for now, I don't think you're the a-hole. I think it was a mature move. Sister owed me $100 for 3 months, so I broke a $100 pair of her shades. 2 days later paid. I mean, it had to come to that. I'm not saying breaking people's stuff is okay, and I'm not justifying it. However, it's been 3 months. Money is just something you don't play with. If you owe someone money, just pay them. So you got yourself in the bind. If it was like 2 weeks, 1 week, then I'm like, girl, you didn't have to do that. But 3 months, I mean, you got paid, right? I crashed out on my boyfriend for tagging a girl as his best friend instead of me, and he barely knows her. Then he yelled at me saying that she helped him through a rough time, but that's what I'm here for. Yeah, that crash out was justified. Different relationships have different dynamics. You can have friends from the opposite gender. I know that's deemed okay sometimes. To publicly do something like that, like, what are you talking about? Like, you're mine, I'm yours, what are we doing? I think it's just the publicity of it is probably why it's deemed disrespectful. And then I don't think you should be yelling either. Like, you should just understand where she's coming from. The crash out makes sense. Am I the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend in another country after he cheated? By the way, I burned his passport. I mean, just don't cheat. Burning a passport, I don't know if that's a federal offense, but leaving him in a country, he can figure it out. Oh well. Am I the a-hole for deleting TikTok on my brother's phone? Because if I can't have it, no one can. That's crazy. Yes, you are. I would be so livid. Oh my God. I would be so pissed. So pissed if TikTok was off my phone for that reason. Are you serious? Am I the a-hole for dropping my friend after she played a hurtful prank on me for $20? No, you're not. I have seen that countless times where people say or do things that are a prank, but it really is hurtful. Like, it's not funny. And they just mask it with prank. And for money is crazy. Girl, that's not your friend. That's not your friend, first off. And two, I think you did the right thing. That person does not need to be in your life because we don't got time for the games. Am I the a-hole for voicing my dislike about my Secret Santa present? It was under budget. People agreed it was lame. I mean, like, how under budget? Because if it was like the limit is $50 and you got an eraser, then I get it. But then again, if you don't like something, just keep it to yourself. Honestly, you're better than me because when I don't like something, I keep it to myself and then I have bottled up anger. So maybe it's a good thing that you got to express how you really felt, because people do be tripping on Secret Santa and White Elephant and all the gift exchanges. So honestly, kudos to you for speaking up. I wouldn't say you're the a-hole. I would just say that you're truthful. Oh, this is long. I'm the a-hole for blowing up our friend group after I exposed everyone's secrets in a drunken rage. So I've been part of a super tight-knit friend group for years. There are 6 of us. Oh, we're dropping names. Me, Mia, Jess, Ryan, Alex, and Ben. I'm gonna hope these are code names. We've been through everything together. Relationships, breakups, drama. But this weekend, I might have completely destroyed the group. It all started because of Mia and Ryan's situationship. They've been hooking up for months, but keep insisting they're just friends. Meanwhile, Mia flirts with Alex constantly, and Ryan gets pissed but won't admit why. It's been a constant source of tension and I was over it. Then there's Jess, who is secretly dating Ben, even though she's talking about how she has no feelings for him and just likes the attention. Ben, of course, is head over heels for her and has no idea. I've told Jess she needs to be honest, but she says it's not that deep. Cut to this weekend. We were at a party and everyone was drinking. At some point, Mia started flirting with Alex right in front of Ryan, who was getting visibly pissed. Jess was all over Ben while texting another guy. The whole thing just felt toxic, and maybe I was just fed up, or maybe it was the tequila, but I snapped. I stood up and in front of everyone went off. I called out Mia and Ryan for their fake friendship and how they clearly wanted each other, but were too childish to admit it. I told Alex he was an idiot for letting Mia string him along. I exposed Jess for playing Ben right in front of him and said he deserved better. Then, for good measure, I announced that Alex had been sleeping with someone outside the group while Mia was chasing him. Silence. just ran out. Mia started screaming at me. Ben looked like he was going to cry. Ryan and Alex just stood there, shocked. The night ended with everyone storming off, and now no one is talking. I've gotten texts saying I ruined everything and that I should have kept my mouth shut. I feel bad because, yeah, I probably shouldn't have exploded like that. But was I really the a-hole for saying what everyone was already thinking? The tea is piping. The tea is piping. I would have to agree. I think that whole situation was very, very toxic. There's a lot going on, especially with you in the middle. I do think it was the tequila talking. I will have to say that. There was just a lot of messiness going on anyways. And honestly, I was already put off by the fact that there's a group of 6 friends. Not to say that it can't happen, but for some reason, whenever I hear about large friend groups, I automatically think there's gonna be a problem. Like, I don't understand how that could possibly work, because I feel like so-and-so is gonna have beef with so-and-so, and then they get a little cliquey. How can you have a group of 6 friends? Maybe it's just my history, but I have no idea. That's just too much. You can have a lot of friends, of course, but a tight-knit group like that, I always feel like something bad is bound to happen. I think it could have been exposed differently. I mean, at a party, it was a lot. Friends were wilding. The tequila was talking. And I feel like what was in the dark came to light. So no, I would think you're the a-hole. I understand everyone's upset with you, but that friend group is over. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend that they looked ugly when they did in fact look ugly? They got so pressed and upset with me, and now we're not on speaking terms because they took it to heart. I mean, why wouldn't they take it to heart? Why would you say that? I mean, even if it was subjectively true, I just don't feel like that's something you need to say. My gosh. Yes, you are. Be a better friend. My passive-aggressive roommate was furious because I asked to invite my student Bible study group over and told her they would leave at 9. And she said, yes, they can come over. We didn't have anywhere else to meet. We were in the living room talking about low-key deep stuff, praying, etc. And at 8:30, she came out in the kitchen and started loudly banging pots and pans for 10 minutes. At 8:58, she was mad that they weren't putting their coats on to leave and went into my roommate's room to loudly complain about it. Then she came out to the kitchen and stood there with her arms crossed, making sure they all walked out. The next morning, she loudly complained that her sleep quality had been ruined. She only got 7 hours and 56 minutes of sleep instead of a full 8 hours. OMG, life ruined. Instead of groveling at her feet, I didn't make a big deal of it because she's passive aggressive and she ignored me for a week. What an angel. I don't think you did anything wrong, because if she truly had a problem with it, then why did she say it was okay for them to come? I could completely understand if they were there at 9:30, 10 o'clock. She got mad at 8:58. I also think as a roommate, she could have pulled you into the room and communicated how she felt about it instead of doing the most. And I understand your frustration, because I remember being in college and roommates would always do the most with coming over. I had great roommates, but I noticed sometimes when I would go over to other people's places, I could just tell the vibes were off. So I think as the other roommate, if you really have a problem, just speak up. Don't say, okay, it's okay, and then do all the nonsense. I wouldn't say you're the a-hole. I think you communicated how you're supposed to, and the other person just needs to get over it. Am I the a-hole for not cleaning my room when my mom tells me? My mom a week ago told me to clean my room. I told her I would eventually. Something my mom doesn't understand is that I'm swamped with work and school. I have 3 AP classes and I work almost every day. I know that it's not her fault because I chose to do all of it. Last Friday, she came into my room and yelled at me for not cleaning up and that I was a disorganized and messy person. She kept yelling at me for around 30 minutes, so I just decided to go in my room and lock it. I don't understand what the big issue is. It's my room, and to me, it's hardly even dirty. It's just a little bit of dust and 2 food bags on the floor. She's now mad at me and is telling everyone she knows that I'm disobedient and doing this to spite her because of how she used to be. She used to bring guys home every day and go out for multiple days on end without me and my siblings having any food. Ooh. Ugh. As a student, taking all those classes, I completely understand how swamped you are, and I can't even imagine having a job on top of that. I feel like my whole opinion on this changed after reading that last sentence, because that's kind of crazy. The priorities are not where it should be. I honestly think you just need to have the conversation, because she is your mom, you know. She's your mom, and if she's paying the bills, I mean, it's hard. But I think you just need to explain that to her. I think your mom's tripping, because why is she telling the whole world that you're disobedient, this and that? I feel like not everything needs to be aired out to the public. I wouldn't say you're the a-hole. If you were a hoarder, that's one thing, but I mean, you're busy. You're trying to graduate, trying to get your coins up. I get it. I just think you obviously want to respect your mom, but I get I get the disconnect. So conversation needs to be had, and no, you're not the a-hole. All right, that's gonna be the end of this video. I wanna appreciate everyone who sent in a story. I'm glad for the people who even posted their stories on Reddit, because some of those were juicy. I think the majority of these were justified, in my opinion. People can just be out of hand. That's just the way people are. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would say this was more of like a story time, get your popcorn and tea type of video. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining, for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you on the flip side. Tea is out.